What's up, Elroy?
What's going on?
I'm actually really happy to be here talking to you. Last time we did this, I was in New York and you were in
New York?
Maryland.
Oh,
So we're finally here together. I got my brother, Elroy Byam, the godfather of all godfathers.
Stop it. Stop it.
And I just wanted to have just a unfiltered conversation when it comes to males, but not just males, but the African American male. So one of the things I do want to start off with, and this is going to be very quick, very brief, but one of the things I wanted to start off with is how is it being a black male in America? What are some of the things, what are some things that you feel like you have issues with when it comes to being a black male in America?
Well, I don't know if I necessarily speak to my personal issues, but I think for a lot of black men in America, there is a struggle often of loneliness. Like they don't often feel like they are in a society that cares for them. I think a lot of black men are often seen for what they can produce first. I think a lot of African American males' first relationship with the country, was based on slavery. So the first way they were, place where they were seen, we could even talk about how, we went to Annapolis, over the weekend from where Kunta Kinte first came over, and he's not seen as human. He's seen as 3/5 of a human, and he's seen for what he can produce. And that concept has gone on from since that landing up until today, where a lot of men want to be seen as humans, but it's often, what can you do? How well can you do it? How can you show up? Can you provide for me? Can you protect for me? And a lot of black men, I think, struggle with this identity of saying, okay, yeah, I don't mind, helping out. I don't mind serving, but how can I also be seen as a human being in a world that has struggled to see me as human? So I think that's one of the biggest struggles, a lot of black men deal with today.
How does one tackle being lonely? Because a lot of women, so let's say for females, we have our girls group, we go out, we brunch, we do this and that. How does a black male in America conquer the feeling of loneliness?
Well, I think it's hard. I think it's a struggle that a lot of black men are dealing with now. For instance, you have a lot of black men who are trying to be active fathers to dispel the myth that there aren't black males in the household. So a lot of them are overcompensating for the lack of a present father in both emotion and physical space in their homes. So by doing that, they're often amputating the very same things they found a lot of black women talking about, either their absence in presence and their absence in emotion. And so I think we're doubling down now on doing that in our homes. And by doing that, we're often cutting off a lot of our community, a lot of third spaces. Black women, a lot of black men would meet up in a lot of other areas, whether there were coffee shops or bars or the gym, playing basketball, and a lot of them are finding virtual third spaces now. So video games, online social groups through Facebook, or what have you. So it's an ongoing conversation, but I think a lot of black men are still dealing with this concept of loneliness and trying to find a healthy community again in a society that continues to dehumanize them.
I think it's so much that you can talk about when it comes to black males in America, because you talked about loneliness, but also when it comes to relationships. How do you become a good husband? How do you become a good father? I've seen you, doing the best you can as a husband and as a father, but who do you look to? How do black men look towards other black males to become their best selves?
Yeah, it's hard because you see nowadays there's either a narrative that kind of takes down a lot of black males that we've known. We've seen popular black figures in the media get taken down or canceled or what have you for all different types of stories, whether true or untrue. So sometimes it's really hard for black males to have heroes the way black women have heroes, because they're not often in the news, for scandals or what have you. But I think we often look towards, we can look towards our peers, those that are setting good examples before us. So, I have friends who are fathers that have kids that might be a few years older than me, and I've seen how they've raised them, and, you take notes. And to me, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I'm very, very careful about cultivating that type of, community, at least in terms of men that have healthy morals and values and things that I want to emulate and continue to show within my family. So Yeah, but it's an ongoing struggle.
I think America has missed the mark when it comes to, maybe I shouldn't talk from that, but from when it comes to narrative and storytelling from a male's perspective. Do you feel like we have a lot of stories that black males or males in general can look to and watch to say, hey, I want to be like this. This inspires me.
Me personally, I don't see it. I'll be honest. I know Tyler Perry creates a lot of movies for Black women and allows them to see themselves in powerful lights on both the struggle side and the successful side. But you don't often see it for Black men. A lot of times when you do see us, you'll kind of see us in movies that have reflected a horrible history, whether it's dealt with us in chains or us being abusive fathers or husbands or just not their period. So we've often been the villains in other folks' stories, whether it's been a white male's villain or a Black female's villain. But you don't often see stories that depict us as heroes. And that was why I think even when Black Panther came out, it was such a powerful moment in Black storytelling, because you're seeing a Black male having agency and power and is available in emotion as a brother and eventually, as a father. And he wrestles with that level of identity, but he's still shown in a very positive light. And I think the world, especially Black men, are responding to that in a very positive way. And we're still fighting for those narratives. I think there need to be more creatives that create more stories for Black men that are going through struggles, but and may wrestle with morality in some cases and morals, or what have you. But to show that, hey, there are a lot of us that are out there that are good, that are doing the work, that are advocating, that are flawed, but at the same time are still trending upwards and are fighting to be better husbands and fathers. So.
And I think that's well said. And speaking of creatives and pushing out Black male stories, I definitely wrote a story called The Bachelor Pad, and that comes out this year, November 15th, at the Schomburg Center for Research in Black Culture.
Come on now, do you want to give the people a little synopsis of what they're going to get into?
Definitely. Just what they're going to get into is you're going to be at the edge of your seat, and you're going to see 4 males, and they are going through a lot of struggles in life. When it comes to brotherhood, when it comes to loyalty, when it comes to women being tempted, and when it comes to just growth as a man, maturity. So you're gonna see the transformation of a male going from a good guy and then going to a bad guy and going from a bad guy to a good guy. You're gonna see all these transformation of different characters. And the reason why I wanted to write from a male's perspective, and it's so funny because both these people, the one behind the camera and the one right here, is how are you gonna write from a male's perspective? Well, you just wait and see. Wait and see, because, go ahead.
No, it's true, because I was going to ask you that, because I know for me as a Black male, if I'm writing women's roles, I know a lot of women or Black women in general might raise an eyebrow, and say, why are you doing that? Well, one, we've seen Tyler Perry doing it and be extremely successful at it. But two, yeah, I do find it interesting that you're having, a lot of women creatives writing lines for men now. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this
I think as a storyteller, it's important to be able to write from different genders. If you're a storyteller, you can't just write from the woman's perspective. You have to understand from a male, and you also have to understand from a woman if you're a storyteller.
Right. So if you're understanding from a male, where are you getting your source material?
From all over. You talk to people, you do focus groups, you watch films, you study films, and you understand. I mean, I think humans, even our conversations, I get stuff. So you pick up from all over.
Hey, don't be putting our conversations in a movie.
Our conversations are not in there, but you learn from the world around you how people are, and you tell you just tell a story based off of what you've seen and what you've heard. So this story that is coming out, The Bachelor Pad, once again on November 15th, is going to be one that is just phenomenal, because I wanted to show how, I wanted males, especially Black males, to be seen. But it's not only for Black males. I just wanted the underlying theme of writing from a male's perspective, a male lead.
A man's perspective.
A man's perspective, a man's perspective. But I want everybody to take away some really positive messages And I want everybody to see themselves in these characters. And that's why I wrote The Bachelor Pad. Any questions for me on The Bachelor Pad?
I mean, I think you answered most of the questions I was already going to ask. Why did you write it? And your inspiration behind writing for men?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of stories are told when it comes to a man's perspective, and I wanted to challenge myself.
There are a lot of stories that are told from a man's perspective. It's the way the man is depicted. Like you've had a lot of these Western movies, the John Waynes, the Clint Eastwoods of the world, you know, and they were cowboys, they were wild, you know, and powerful, but you didn't often see them as like comprehensive males. And I think it's really important in a society.
But what about now? What about now, present day? Do you see a lot?
No, and I think that's why you have creators like yourself and other folks that are starting to create narratives that are showing men in a more comprehensive way. Like you go online now and most engagement, let me not say most engagement, but there's a lot of engagement that is built around just hating men. And I understand, you know, I feel and I empathize with a lot of women who have been on the bad end of relationships over time, and men who may have been on the bad end of those relationships as well. But we're never going to be able to heal or move forward unless we have healthier discussions around men and women and what we can do to create more of a safe space and a healthier space for both of us to coexist. Not for one to dominate over the other, but for how we can coexist, because we're all sharing this world.
Yeah, well said. And this actually came about because I had a male friend and we would talk about certain stuff, and I was like, oh, this is actually interesting. I want to write a story on this type of theme. So again, November 15th. Cool. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Anything else you want to let people know from you are that's what it was. You're very intelligent. A lot of the stuff that you share with me, I always wanted you to share with other people when it comes to little gems that you're always sharing me on our conversations. What is something that people should know when it comes to just respecting the black male? You said it earlier, but anything else that you feel should be reiterated or?
Oh, just lead with love. I think a lot of folks struggle with that. They may have grown up and had a lot of experiences where they weren't loved well or loved properly, and they've never really known how to move and respond out of a healthy form of love. But you know, when you take it from a biblical perspective, in 1 Corinthians 13 says that love is patient, it's kind, it's not envious or jealous, it doesn't keep records of wrongs, you know, it trusts, it endures, you know, and so you take all those tenets of love and you practice it, and you can see how many people, if they respond out of that or if they're responding in the opposite, which I and so many others believe to be fear. So just move towards our brothers in love-based behavior rather than fear-based behavior. Yeah, a lot of those narratives are online and a lot of men are doing the work, but continue to grow with your counterparts. We're all in this together. So.
And thank you for sharing that, because one of the things that I admire is the work that you've done from your own past situations. And every time you share with me beautiful gems, I'm like, oh, the world has to see this. So I'm happy that I'm happy that I have a brother like you who does the work and does the healing. Yeah, and does the work, does the healing, and also shares that with your family and your friends. You know, from stocks to different things. Samantha, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. So thank you for that, my brother.
Oh, you're welcome. Bachelor Pad, November 15th. Check it out.
Schomburg Center. Tickets on Eventbrite.com.